Another Tuesday in the Grateful Brotherhood Clubhouse, where we will be discussing probably one of the most silent killers happening right now, and that's comparison, feeling like you're behind because you're comparing to other people. And with me tonight, I have my brothers, Brad Trammell, the Tone Master, Rod Brinson, the Brand Strategist, and myself, the Momentum Catalyst, because I get it moving. But this would not be what it was or what it is without gratitude. So I'm going to ask my brothers first. What are you grateful for today before we jump into this conversation?
I'll kick it off.
Okay.
I'm grateful first of all for our brother John, who's not here. He's, witnessing his son graduate, and I mean, congrats to all of that, man. I'm grateful for people who are completing things, people who are going through it and deciding, you know what, I'm gonna stick this out. I'm gonna spend these 4 years in high school or college, and I'm going to complete this task. I'm grateful for that being a consistent thing in my life, even though I'm far removed from it. Um, whether it's through my kids, neighbors, nieces, nephews, I'm always able to see someone that is being congratulated on completing something that they set out to do years ago. So I'm just grateful for the reminder that I too can complete some things in my life as long as I make a decision and stick with it. I will get through and complete that thing. So I'm grateful for that.
That's beautiful. Man. Brad, what are
Yeah.
you grateful for, man?
Much to be grateful for right now, but I mean, you can see based on my attire, one thing I'm grateful for, because after 27 years of a drought and not even being being relative in the NBA, man, my favorite team growing up is finally going to the East, is going to the finals now as of last night. So I was really overjoyed about that. And it actually leads me into the first point, but I want to bring this up because I'm grateful for this also. I'm grateful for not only God's timing, but having impactful work to do. Over this past weekend, I had several conversations with different people about situations that were going on in their life regarding wills and trusts, like family members who passed away, and the things that the families had to deal with as a result of these wills not being in place, and how damaging it can be to a family, to the point where some family members still don't talk to this day. And the family member who died, this is like a decade ago, and there's still things being held on in contention. And I'm like, man, that's one of the most disruptive things. So some of the work that I'm doing now can be used to prevent that from happening. And if I can do anything to keep, to keep potential family division like avoided, that's what I want to do. And I found out strongly this past weekend that that's something I actually have the opportunity to do, and I'm grateful for that opportunity.
Man. So grateful to see people following through on a decision they made, and grateful to help reconnect people that were once disconnected over something that was a resentment that probably shouldn't have even disconnected them in the first place. That is some
Right.
major work. Me, I'm grateful just to honestly, like, if I had to word it, I'm trying to word. I had it in my head, but I was trying not to think about what I would say. I was trying to listen to what you were saying. So it's I'm grateful that my thoughts are not reality, if that makes sense. So I can
Mm.
think something may happen or won't happen or will be a certain way, and that can keep me from taking action. And then when I finally take that action, weeks, days, months, years later, and I realize it wasn't as hard or it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, it makes me realize, why do I keep trusting these thoughts? And so I'm grateful that when I take action and I make those decisions to follow
Mm.
through on something I would have done or should have done or told myself I would do or promised to someone else I would do, that accountability piece, um, it actually ends up working out better than I could have ever imagined. And my imagination's horrible, guys. Like, I see the worst case as much, and this is why I need gratitude. As much as I am grateful, it's like I go to church or I am Christian because I'm flawed, I'm broken. So I'm grateful that there is a tool or mechanism change the entire perspective of my life without anything having to change. And it is so powerful because it's just a mindset shift. I'm going from what I don't want, or what I don't want to focus on, or what I don't want to happen, to what I already have, what I'm already grateful for, and where that can go. And it's just what I choose to look at. And it changes everything. Like, I don't have to change jobs, car, house, friends, just the way I look at those things.
It was a wonderful, I guess, analogy I heard Myron Golden use when he talked about everything has two sides. You have a coin has two sides, a wall has two sides, even a piece of paper has two sides. And it just matters which side you're looking at.
Yeah.
And that really and you have that choice. There's nothing stopping you from making the choice to look at it from the other direction. The thing that is sometimes an obstacle for us is the fact that we have history and experience that we've gone through, or we know somebody else is going through. So the probability of something going wrong is what we first look at, because we're familiar with it. What you're unfamiliar with, how can you focus on it? But that comes, I guess, that flourishes with the power of gratitude. Once you see the things that you do have to be grateful for, you start to look at the positive side of whatever you're going through, and try to find out what in this is helping me, what's shaping me, what can I get from this, rather than why is this happening. And we know it's universal that the victim mindset is very poisonous, but still it's very difficult to change from that perspective. But simply put, all it takes is practice.
That's
Something
it.
small, something mundane, something that doesn't seem like it's going to have that much impact. Like waking up in the morning and just thanking God for one thing in the morning, and then one thing before you go to bed. That will it initially be just one thing, but after time, it's going to start to multiply, because you're not going to feel satisfied with just one thing, because you're going to start to see more things to be grateful for. So I can't just say thank you for one thing. No,
Right.
this happened too. And then it catches like wildfire. And once that gets embedded up here, you start doing it naturally.
What I
Amen.
find about that to be interesting, Brad, is like, and I'll just be honest. I was a skeptical person when it came to like the power of gratitude. I hear people say these things, and it sounds like a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo and kumbaya, sit around a campfire with some crystals, and but it was just like I took a moment to really absorb it and say, why not give it a try? Let's see the power of let's see how this works, and over the course of a few weeks of putting it into practice, that's when you're able to see the evidence of it. You can't see it by just sitting around and saying, man, I wonder if that water is cold or hot. Yeah, you can sit around the pool and think all day whether or not, but you will never know until you actually get in the water. And so when I got in the water the first few times, it was like, all right, cool. All right, move on with my day. But one particular day, I wasn't feeling that great. Things were going bad left and right. They say death comes in threes and all that type of stuff. Like, it was just like raining bad stuff in the beginning of the day. And I just paused and was like, you know what? I'm grateful that I have another day to get this right. I'm grateful that you know what I mean? I still have my house. I still have my family. I started doing that, and I noticed a shift in my thinking. And then I noticed a shift in the physical world around me. Like, stuff started getting better almost immediately. And it's not a magical thing. It's like you said, it's a mindset. And what you will end up doing is you will look at things differently simply because you took a moment to look at stuff that you should be grateful for in the midst of going through those things.
Man, it's interesting you say that, because I got a ticket the other day. We was out shopping. We had a whole moment where we was on the body wash aisle, and we were sniffing the different body washes. And you know me, you can't put me in public and not create a little community of people around me. So it ended up me talking to these people. Then, we're changing, like passing the body washes around. Ooh, smell this one. Smell this one. We're making faces. We're making conversation. And it was like the sniff club or something. And then another lady comes in on the aisle and she joins in, and it just became this great big, like, there was like 5 or 6 people passing around body washes, and we smelled all the body wash on the aisle in Walmart. It was fun. But the gratitude to be able to connect with people over some body wash, over some good smells, right? And then, we ran into him a couple more times in the grocery store. But when we left, Tiffany was like, don't go out this way. You got to make a U-turn. And I was like, yeah. So I'll make a U-turn, forgetting that place is a place where you cannot do a U-turn. So I was like, well, I'll do a G-turn. I'll turn this way and use this flow of traffic to go this way because their light's still green. Tell me why I did not notice a cop behind me. So as I pull in to turn around, he sees that as I'm going across all lanes of traffic, endangering people. And I saw him turn his lights on as soon as I made that left. And I made the left from the right-hand lane. So he could have got me on 4 different charges in that moment. I haven't got a ticket in so long, guys. I was like, oh, snap. Scratched the truck up on the way to pull over because there was all these pine trees. And I'm like, I'm just laughing at this point because I'm like, this means something big is coming because the devil don't want me to stay in this elevated gratitude space. He wants to remind me of how bad things are, right? So guy comes to the window. She's like, just be calm. Tell him the truth. I was like, that's what I planned on doing, right? So I tell him the truth, and I'm expecting that he's just going to let me go on a warning because that's how the last 2 or 3 times I got pulled over have gone. He's like, well, he comes back. I'm giving you 2 citations instead of 4. That is a cause to be grateful because that's 2 less tickets, right?
Yeah.
But I still try to talk him out of those 2. I was like, but did you hear my logic though? I didn't endanger anyone. I was careful. He's like, I understand.
Can see him doing that.
Yeah. And he's like, I understand. That's why I'm giving you 2 instead of 4. I'm like, all right, I'll leave it alone. I won't do that again. And then we go somewhere else and something else happens. I can't even remember now. And I was like, I would go to the car wash and try to wash these scratches of the pine tree off. She's like, no, let's just go home. It's one of those days. Let's just go home. But I'm saying all that to say something that usually in the past would have made me so mad, would have been something that would have drugged me down. And I would have thought, man, now on top of not having this money, I got to pay these tickets and I'm so inconvenienced. There's all these things I could have said, but what I did instead was I'm so grateful I got a ticket and that, I don't have warrants. I don't have any kind of outstanding anything that would get me in trouble. We don't have drugs or alcohol in the car. We're all sober. There's so much to be grateful for here because my past, I could have gone to jail if I got pulled over. And it's kind of a great segue because life feels like it's moving so fast that people can't keep up. And that would have been the cause for me to complain in that moment because life is moving fast. It is hard to keep up. It's hard to maintain financial stability. And we're talking from people who have skills that can bring in the money. But let's talk about Gen Z and the people that have to work 2, 3 jobs and work together. And now AI is replacing every job that is replaceable. How do you have gratitude in those moments? What are y'all's thoughts on that?
That was an incredible lead in, by the way. But I'll say, for me to be able to speak about it, I can only speak from my experience. I'm grateful that I come from an age where we still had to figure stuff out prior to the current technological age. We were there at the entrance of it.
Yeah.
With dial-up and everything. And it may give away our age, but it also gives way to the type of wisdom that we had that we could rely on in a time where AI is doing all this stuff, where we don't look at the prospects of life going forward as something so impossible, because in our minds, it's like, we're going to figure something out. Where it's just not hopeless because technology has not been relied upon the entirety of our lives. There was a time before that. So because we are familiar with that time, we know how things went down, seeing our fathers or our grandfathers or our uncles or whomever we saw on television, maybe. Things were done differently so that, you could have business, you could do something, you can go make something of yourself. So following those rules or having that old type knowledge or wisdom, it helps. It helps with the mindset, if nothing else. Because it's like, now something could be figured out and something will be figured out.
Yeah.
It's more than the mindset, though. I mean, I think that the other side of it is what it is. With anything great is going to come some sort of adversity. That's just part of life, right? And so, yeah, AI may be taking some jobs, but it's also providing an unmatched accessibility to information that we haven't had before. It's speeding up things and making it easier for doctors and countries to, do certain things or whatever it might be, right? I'm not gonna get on some philosophical horse and ride into the sunset, but the reality is this: there are benefits to it just as much as the negative side of it. And so
Yeah.
you got to find something to be grateful when it comes to that as well, because
Mm.
I'm grateful for the fact that even though it may be taking jobs, it's right now currently providing me more bandwidth to handle more clients, because
Yeah.
AI can offload some of the work. You know what I
Mhm.
Yeah.
mean? Whereas before I had to do it all myself.
Mhm.
So yeah, whether you Gen Z or X or millennial, whatever the case may be, you can look at it from a negative aspect and go, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to go and shuck corn for a living and something else that AI can't do that yet. But you could also look at it from an aspect of, if I didn't have this, just like anything else, right? Smartphones or the email. When it came out with email, people were still writing letters to their family across seas and doing stuff. It was a
Yeah.
strange thing,
Yeah.
but email made it easier for everybody to communicate in a faster way. Did that eliminate writing letters? For the most part, some people still do it. There's still a post office, but
Yeah.
now if you get a heartfelt handwritten letter, it's sentimental. Somebody took that time. Somebody
Mhm.
cares. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So the bottom line is, I think that it's benefit to both sides, and you can find something to be grateful about it regardless.
It goes back to what
You
Brad said.
leverage.
There's two sides of every coin. You can't have a one-sided anything. It doesn't exist. And even energies, right? Invisible energies, there's a positive and negative polarity. So there has to be both sides. And, with everything advancing, like you said, it gives you more bandwidth, the ability to do more. But as we saw when COVID came and everyone started working from home, even when the companies were reluctant to let their workers work from home because of the trust, right? Are they going to actually be doing their job? When they saw the productivity spike, they didn't ask any questions. They were like, this is good. But what really happened was everyone was bored. They could log in and be on work and do whatever they needed to. And so they started working more. So
Mhm.
when we have more time as a result of some kind of technology that gives us more time, we don't take that time to do something for us with it or to do
Mm.
something that recharges us. We just dive more into the thing we're doing that makes us money. Right. And so same thing is happening with AI. It's giving us the ability to give more bandwidth to our employers or to get more done for ourselves. But do we still cut off at 5? Do we still cut off to get that time with
Mm.
our family? Or now, are we doing what 10 humans could have done or 100 humans could have done and then going further because we could do so much more, but we still have the same human brain we woke up with, not broke up with. I didn't break up with my brain. I hope you didn't either. Um, trying to handle all this extra stuff and then still feeling like we're behind because let's be real, once we entertain AI or anything about it, it's the only thing in our social media feed. And then there's ads. If you're doing this, you're wrong and you're falling behind and you're about to die. And this is all the what do you call that? The fear mongering, the rage bait.
Yeah, propaganda, man.
And so people are feeling like they're behind. So there's this, what I like to call the should I be further wound, or that fear of missing out. How do we deal with like the expectations from our parents, social media, church, sports, marriages, career expectations, the younger self, the imagination of who you should have been by now?
Mm.
How do you view that through a lens of gratitude? And for the listener or viewer right now, who told you where you were supposed to be by now? Was it you, or was it one of those narratives that I mentioned there? Like, who shapes your identity?
That's real. I mean, and the answer is it's all of that. I think we all have a vision of where we want to be and how we want to be. We got parents that have put certain images in our mind. I don't know about y'all, but my parents grew up telling me, "Boy, you need to go to school and learn something about computers. That's the future. You need to do that." And I mean, they didn't give me any kind of instruction outside of that. That was as good as they can go. And then I turn around and did something similar. I'm telling my kids, hey, you need to learn Mandarin. That's the wave of the future. If you know how to speak Mandarin, you're gonna be good. Some parents told their kids AI was the wave of the future. It was probably not that many. But here's my point to you: nobody knows the future. All we can do is talk about what needs to be done. There are plenty of software engineers who are out of a job right now, and their parents told them they should be in software. You understand what I'm saying? And so here's the point. I think the resolve is to stay in the present. You shouldn't be in the past, and you shouldn't be trying to be in the future. Nobody can predict the future. All of these gurus out here talking about what AI is going to do don't know what they're talking about. They're making predictions. A prediction is simply gambling on what you think is going to happen based off probability of what you've already seen. It does not equal truth. It's just one person's point of view. So instead of worrying about a robot coming from the future to kill John, whatever his name was in Terminator, you should be worried about what you're doing today. That's it. Worry about what you're doing today and figure today out. And if you're thinking about the future, think about it from a perspective of what I do today is going to affect my future. That's it. It should always boil back down to today.
Yeah. It's an interesting perspective too, because you said worry about. I know you didn't mean to say worry about.
I'm saying you shouldn't be worried, but if you're gonna worry about something, it should be today, not tomorrow.
Let it be somewhere where your feet are, where you can actually control the outcome.
Well, you can do something about it. Exactly.
Yeah. The present is a gift, and with one foot in the past and one foot in the present, all you have left to do is, well, I'll let your imagination take it there on the present.
Well, you said 1 foot in the present. You meant the future.
Yes. One foot in the past, 1 foot in the future. So now your imagination's all confused.
I was like, yeah,
it's like, what are we doing? Where are we going?
We're just
look. That's what the Hawks had 1 foot in the past and 1 foot in the present. They should have had 1 foot in the future or something. I don't know what they did. I just keep seeing the Knicks on my screen. I don't know what's happening right now. I don't have no gratitude for that. How about that?
The night I was down there in Atlanta, you took your boys to the game. I was like, that's dope, man. Go take your boys to the game. Till I pulled up and saw the score and I got to the hotel. I was like, Rod, are you alive, bro?
If I would have known you was a Knicks fan, I didn't know you was a Knicks fan at that point. I wouldn't have said nothing to you that day. It just been gone. But look, I don't never take them to a game, man. I was so grateful to be able to take them. I had to make a sacrifice. It was one of those situations where, it's like, man, I really don't have the money to do this. But some of these moments I've learned, guys, you got to get out of this thing of I have to do this or I can't do that. Sometimes you got to just live life. My oldest son back from college, they at the house, we sitting around. I could tell they're interested. They've been watching every basketball game. And something just hit me like, man, I wish I could take them to a game. And then my mind went way down the road, Greg. What's this show about? Am I enough and am I doing my thing or whatever? Like my mind went down the road. Am I falling behind? Am I where I'm supposed to be? I should have enough money to take them to this game. And then my mind went to, you know what? We're not worried about what we have to eat. I'm not being chased by the police. My parents, I started being grateful for the things that I have, and something clicked. And I said, you know what? I'm taking them to a game. Looked up the tickets. And when I sent them the link, I said, hey, y'all find seats that work or whatever. They were on cloud 20. Like they immediately, their whole paradigm shifted with the idea that, wow, we get to go to the game. Yeah. Like, it wasn't even on their mind. You know what I'm saying? So regardless of losing by 50 points, I'm grateful for the experience. I'm grateful for all the New York fans that were around me, screaming and yelling and being sarcastic in only a way that a New Yorker can be. here in this Atlanta stadium.
I got to jump in on that because after every flipping game, it has been pandemonium in the streets of New York on 33rd and 7th, I think it is, outside of MSG. Man, that joint, it's just it's like it's what you see when people are just that enthusiastic, and every post on my feed now, because my algorithm knows I'm a Knicks fan now, because it's all it's giving me. And so it's giving me all these reactions, all these crowds forming, all these people celebrating, having a good time. And of course, you have the people in the comment section of those posts saying, well, they still gonna lose. They, in the finals, you know what I'm saying, still got more to play. Y'all need to hush up, shut. When all that starts happening, it really, really mimics how we deal with our excitement versus detractors and people we have in our lives, whether they be friends or family. And they may not do it as rude or obvious as these people, but they'll say times like, I don't know if I would do that, or you may want to think about that. And those little statements right there can be enough to derail you from following through on an idea, celebrating something that's meaningful, or doing something big with your life. Like, it can really alter that, especially if it's people you love and respect. Yeah. For instance, we were talking about what you wanted to be when you grew up. My parents wanted me to be a medical doctor. And I went as far as getting my bachelor's of science in biology from undergrad. Have I done anything with it? No. Because in my heart, that's not something I saw myself doing. So I pivoted and did something else. And even what I sought out to do wasn't exactly the answer at that time, but I knew in my mind, I was like, I know what I don't want to do. And so I followed through on what it is I wanted to do, and it put me in the position where I am right now, which I'm incredibly grateful for. But I wanted to make mention of this. There was a fan who posted in response to all these negative criticism. He's like, we understand that there are going to be people who don't understand the way we celebrate. There are going to be some people who don't get it, that think we're too loud and boisterous. So maybe it's just the stigma that New York has and New Yorkers have. Maybe it's that. But you got to understand something. As a native New Yorker who grew up watching this team, and it's been 27-year drought, this, that, and the third, we're going to celebrate the wins while we have them in the present, because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So when you see that excitement and that joy, find something. He was saying all this. Like, I didn't think he was going to make it this deep, but I saved it because he went there. He was like, find something in your own life to celebrate. And don't worry about us, because right now it's our moment. But in our moment, be inspired to know that you either have had or you will have your own, because life ain't over yet. And right now we're experiencing it live in New York City. And that's how he shut the joint down. I was like, oh, that's a mic drop. And I said, I'm gonna talk about that tonight because it lines up with our topic. It's like, are you feeling you're behind? You haven't done enough, that you need to be somewhere else, man. Look at where you are. First of all, you're above the dirt. Yeah. You're above the dirt. Second of all, you probably got clothes on your back. You probably had a meal today. You probably know where you're gonna go lay your head tonight. These are blessings. Celebrate them.
And to think, you said 27 years?
27.
Man, you think the comments are negative today? Try 27 years of trying and failing and still showing up, right?
Oh, come on.
I mean, what's it been, like 31 years for the Cowboys?
Hey.
Has it really been that long?
The last time I remember a Super Bowl was when I moved here. I thought we had moved to the best place. I didn't even know nothing about football, but I knew we was winning
like
it.
95.
And it was like 2 or 3 years in a row we were in the Super Bowl. And then being a Cowboys fan became an abusive relationship where you're just hoping for it to get better, but it never does.
But I'll take that over getting to the Super Bowl, and that's the last thing I'm going to say on that. So moving right along. Yeah, we're not even. We don't talk about those things.
Put together that you an Atlanta fan, and I'm like, wait a minute, what happened?
I'm grateful to be alive.
We can all speak to it. We can all speak to the downs and to the lows, and I'm sure.
No, you can't speak to that one. Falcons, you can't speak to that one. No, bro. This is straight up embarrassment. Okay, I would rather have 31 years of not even having a shot versus this. Okay, this is ridiculous. Don't retire a jersey, retire the team. We need new colors. We need new logos. We need to become the Atlanta Pigeons. I would rather do anything other than stand on that rock Good God.
Listen, you're a brand strategist. Make it happen.
Man, listen. You can't rebrand that. Ain't that the team that lost in the Super Bowl to the as soon as we rebrand, that's what people going, ain't that team?
And see, this is a perfect segue because comparison is what a lot of people are doing right now, and it's a silent thief. It is robbing us of the energy we have in the present moment to do anything about what our situation is. And you have, and I'll speak to the men, ladies, if you're watching, you may deal with this too, but we can only speak to the men in this situation. Men don't always call it comparison, right? We call it motivation, we call it research, we call it networking, right? Checking in on the market, just staying inspired, but it's that self-harm that we put ourselves through by looking, right? Because when you're a fan of one team, just to use this example, and you see the other teams winning, you ask, are we falling behind? Are we ever going to get to the, like, it's this comparison. It's silent. It's so just that thread underneath. It's subconscious, right? We're doing the comparison. We don't even realize it. And so I want to ask for the people watching, is what you're watching building you or bullying you?
Interesting. Is it building you or bullying you? I honestly think that that's up to the person, though. I think it's up to the individual. And if something is bullying you, then you have the power to pull that thing out of your purview, right? Like, you don't have to watch something that you are having a negative feeling towards, or that you're feeling worse about your own predicament about. If it's causing that feeling to happen, then move away from it. You don't have to look at it, unfollow it, whatever it might be. But if you don't have the willpower to do that, then my second suggestion comes from something I really just told somebody else the other day. I was having a conversation with someone, and they were reflecting on past mistakes and how a marriage didn't work out for them, and they felt kind of bad, but they don't really feel bad until they see somebody else online with their family or their wife or their husband, and they're having a good time or whatever. This person didn't realize they had just told me a story of how they were posting stuff when they were going through it in that same marriage. And they were acting happy even though they really weren't. And I said, well, hey, while you're comparing yourself to these people who are online who have these families that you don't have anymore, don't you know that they got stuff going on too? Their marriages and their relationships and their business and their situation is nowhere near perfect. They're showing you a glimpse that they want you to see. So remind yourself of that when you look at that. Instead of going on the negative side of the train and going, oh man, I wish I don't have this. Put yourself on the positive side. Be grateful for the reality that you're in a better position today than you were yesterday, and you're still here. So yeah, I would say comparison wise, we all want to attain certain things in life. One of the key aspects of getting there is to not get so focused on getting there that you miss out on what you have today. And by focusing on what you have today and being okay with that, your anxiety is going to be down. You're going to be more grateful for the people and the things around you. And when you see somebody else that's perceivably doing better than you, you're going to congratulate them and wish them well and go back to your journey. You're not going to look at their journey and go, man, dang, and we all have that every now and then, but I'm just saying, you got to snap out of that and come back to reality and say, what can I do today to get myself in position so that somebody else is looking at me going, wow, I wish I had what he or she has. Yeah.
I just gave you the road, bro.
I see.
Man,
just about to type that, man. I ain't want to mess nothing up.
Take it. So I don't even know who had it last time. So we are comparing what I heard from that is we're comparing our blooper reel with other people's highlight reels. Right? Because I can't tell you how many times I'm trying to make content and I'm trying to make this fast, snappy video. And I don't realize that they have 10 hours of footage that they chop down to 60 seconds, 90 seconds, 3 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is. And it took a lot of work and storyboarding and preparing and setting up and scripting and redos to get that one piece of content that went viral. Right? They don't just naturally make that stuff. There is a lot of work that goes into making yourself look good on social media. But the effect, right? I love that comparison with the relationships, because when I was in relationships where I aired all my dirty laundry, I allowed everyone to come in and add their opinion and add their what they think I should be doing. I was taking advice in a marriage from single people or people that could never hold a relationship and wondered why my relationship didn't last. Right? Brad, what's your thoughts on this, man?
Absorbing. This is pretty profound.
Do you find yourself comparing yourself, Brad, periodically?
I'm gonna be 100% on this. I have noticed it, and when I notice it, I immediately practice gratitude in that moment, because I know the corrosiveness of the thought. I don't allow the thought to snowball. I see, there are several gentlemen online right now who are doing public speaking, and they're doing it to a phenomenal degree. And I look at that and I'm like, I have the option to be like, man, you know, they can talk about them, not even know them, or I could be like, what am I doing? Where am I? You know, or I could be like that. Change my perspective to be like, it's time back in the gym, or it's time to get back to the soil. It's time to get back. That's how I look at myself. I don't look at it as, oh man, oh shucks, they're doing so much better. I wish I was in their place. I refined my knife because my knife is suited for me, and can't nobody cut like my knife. And because I believe it's my knife, then when I get sharp, can't nobody compare themselves to me because it's my knife. See? So that's how but that took time. I don't want you to think that I just came up with that. That took time to get to that point.
Yeah.
Because what I realized, what I got tired of, it was not serving me to compare. It wasn't, because I'll sit there and be messy, post, get upset, be in my head for maybe like 30 minutes to an hour. And then when the thought dissipates, what has changed? Absolutely nothing. When I figured out that yield did not provide me with anything, I was like, no, something's got to change. I got to get something out of this. What can I get? Let's sharpen the knife. Let me learn another language. Let me take another class. Let me teach another course. Let me put my art into practice. Let me find another opportunity where I can work and use my knife. Because through the information I've been absorbing, and through being around proper circles, which I'm grateful for, such as this group and others, I see other brothers want to sharpen their knife too, and I ain't gonna be left out of that.
It's contagious.
I ain't gonna be left out of that. I'm like, no, it's also like that analogy is like, you will take on the habits of the 3 or 4 people that you hang out with the most.
You're gonna be the 5th.
So if you're hanging out with people, if y'all are like, now, like I said, we're not women, so I cannot comment on this, but I have seen when women come together, and they spend a lot of time either praising one another or tearing other people down. And they're all on board when it happens. Now, I've seen this happen with 2 different types of groups, but I'm like, something's either going to serve you and you're going to keep doing something negative, or you're going to come together and form something positive and build something out of that. But y'all are building either way. There is no on the fence. It's one or the other. So I'd rather surround myself with people that are building and that are not doing comparison than people that are.
Wow.
I want to get your comment on that real quick, Greg, because I got some thoughts. Because we are human, right? When you find yourself comparing yourself, and you know, like on the negative side of that, what do? What's your typical go-to in that moment?
For me, man, I don't want to use any kind of diagnosis as a crutch, but living with ADHD, which Myron had reminded me to call ECA. It's extra creative ability. It's not attention deficit, because we have way more attention than anyone, because we can hyperfocus for hours, and it's not a disorder. Being hyperactive is actually a superpower, because in that hyperactivity, when there is a really bad situation, we're able to rise to the occasion, because in chaos, we slow down. We need chaos to slow down. So there is certain days where I'm on top of the world and nothing can bug me, and I'm looking at life through a lens of gratitude. And I don't know if this is ADHD or being human, but there's other days where I don't want to get out of bed. There's days where when I have not been on my phone for hours and I start to look at my feed, I physically feel myself draining, and I can't explain why. And it's because I'm over here overthinking what to post or how it should look. And then I see someone just pull up their phone, they're in their car, and they're just being themselves, and they've got a viral post. And it's like, but how? Like, I'm over here polishing mine. But here's the thing that I thought of, when I don't even remember when it was. I was a kid, and we're doing this little race, this sprint. And I'm looking at the kids next to me, because I was a small kid. And so I'm like, oh man, these kids are bigger than me. Their shoes are better than me. They're probably faster than me. And so thing goes off, they say go, and I'm looking left and right to see if I'm beating someone instead of looking in front of me, and I tripped and fell. And think about this for a minute. If we're looking left and looking right and trying to run forward, we are going to miss what's in front of us. We may run into a pole. We may trip and fall. We're not going to see where we need to go. And that's part of the reason why the windshield is the biggest thing on the car, right? And the little rear view mirrors are like little things just to check real quick, see if anything's behind or on the side of us for safety, right? But not really. Like, we're not supposed to spend our time looking in the rear view or the side view mirrors. We're supposed to spend our time looking through the windshield. I say supposed to, because I'm human. Sometimes I am looking at someone else, especially in my circle, doing better than me, and thinking, man, like Brad, some days it's, man, I need to get back to the gym. Man, I need to get on my game and be consistent, because Rod is. And then there's other days where I'm like, I'm so far behind. I've got so much stuff sitting on my hard drive going stale. I've got thousands of posts that I've thought of that now I can't post them, or pictures. I have 80,000 pictures in my camera roll, not even exaggerating.
Wow.
And there are events I go to, and I wonder if someone's thinking, man, he posted them, but he didn't post us. Right. And it's like, well, I didn't have the words, because I'm over here always trying to filter my words through all this new knowledge I have of how to post, hook, story, offer. Everything's got to lead to something. It's got to be on brand. And now the thing that helped me grow to where I am now is being me, saying the thing that needs to be said, and asking the stupid questions. And when I stopped doing that, I watched my growth not only like slow down, but almost completely stop. Because people can sense dissonance. And when you're comparing, when you're looking left and right, when you're benchmarking yourself against someone who is not you, which, by the way, you're the best at being you, people can sense that dissonance. You will alienate people faster by trying to be someone you're not. Because when you're trying to be anyone but who you are, no one is there. The person you're trying to imitate isn't there, and you're not there. So therefore, nobody's there.
Man, you preaching over here. I gave you the rope for a reason. I asked that question because I think we all do it, right? We all have moments, and when I have my moments, I will literally check myself almost immediately, Brad. Like I've gone from like, I'm just gonna make up a number, spinning out on it for 30 minutes. Oh man, dang, they got that. I don't got, I've gone from that to like spinning out on it for 3 seconds. When I see something and I find myself looking at it from that point of view of, dang, why not me? Or I see such and such is on this call. Why didn't I get the invite to be on? Whenever I have one of those moments, 3 seconds. And I'm like, I could be doing something for me. Why am I sitting there worried about somebody that ain't worried about me? Let me go focus on something that's going to build somebody else up or build me up in the process of building somebody else up. And then that's all of my energy goes towards that. And what ends up happening is you develop a rhythm for not giving a flip about what somebody else got going on. I'll tell you a quick story, man. Running track in high school taught me so much about life. It's ridiculous. I was a hurdler, just in case y'all didn't know. I ran the 110 and the 300. Favorite race. Loved it. But one race that will make a man out of you or a woman out of you is the 400. That's when you go one time around the entire track. A lot of people don't know this, but it's a sprint.
Yeah.
It's not a mid-range race. It's not a long distance race. It's a sprint. So when that gun goes off, you literally are sprinting a quarter mile. That's the length of it, right? If you run around the track 4 times, you run a whole mile. So I'm getting pretty good at it. We're in the middle of our season, and I know myself. There's a certain pace you have to run in the beginning so that you don't burn out all of your energy by the end of it. Well, there's also a certain place in the race where you kick. Is where you preserved your energy, and so now you kick it into gear to finish the race really strong. Well, my kick is typically towards the last 100 meters. Like if I get past the first 300 and I'm in good position, I can kick and I finish the race strong and I win, whatever, right? This particular race, I'm running against some mean guys. Like they running. And in my mind, I'm like, how are they so far ahead of me? Like I know that they shouldn't be this far at this point. I got to do something to catch up. So I kicked way too early. And my teammates saw it from the stands. They said that it looked like I was literally running 1,000,000 miles an hour. They said I closed that gap so quick. It was crazy. But as soon as we came out of that curve where I would normally kick in my last gear, I had nothing left in the tank. And they still had a lot left because they were running their race.
I
I decided to run their race instead of running my race and end up almost dying. I couldn't run with them how I normally would. I would have probably won that race had I just ran my race.
I'm getting the organ in here. Next time we come in this joint, I'm getting the organ sound. Think I'm playing.
Listen,
I'm
gonna just turn on my keyboard over here and do it.
You got to run your race, man. You got to.
Boy, I'm so glad we had someone in here that was a sprinter because I didn't sprint. We ran as friends, like comparing, but nothing like that where you're actually doing it for real on a track. I remember the first time running on a track, I was trying to quit smoking and running with a friend. I couldn't even run 1/10 of a mile, man. Like, what? 400? No.
Yeah. It's a life changer, but it's interesting because that's the only advice I give my kids. They both run track. Well, my boys. Every time before a race, run your race, man. Don't run nobody's race but yours. It changes the game.
Man.
It gives you more confidence too, I think, because your race is your race. You only person that knows it is you. The only person that can run it is you.
Right. But if you're looking at other people in other lanes, you might say, man, maybe I should do something different.
Do some.
And it's just not the case, man. The more we can be ourselves, the more we're doing not only for ourselves, but for everybody else. That's why they say it's a disservice to the world if you're not being you. This is all I preach. This is all I talk about. I believe in it so heavily that I believe this is part of the reason why I'm not working at a corporate office right now. It's not because God wants me to be an entrepreneur. It's because I have to teach people this thing.
Yeah.
Building your brand is not about building your brand. It's about building you. You are your brand.
Yeah. I mean, a brand is a name that reminds you of a story. So what story are you reminding them of? Is it a story that someone else has narrated for you? Or, the posting willy-nilly and being all over the place with things is training people on who you become? Or are you going to be intentional with it and narrate the story, like create the story that other people, because when I was going to the King's University, it was a seminary school here in Texas. I would just post my homework, which was just Bible verses. And at some point, people started thinking I was holier than thou, that I had reached this spot where nobody could touch me. And people would start calling me for spiritual advice. And I'm like, I just watched porn last night. What are y'all talking about? Like, I don't understand what's happening right now, but I didn't realize that through consistently showing up as something and talking about that one thing, I had established a brand for myself. And I did that a couple different times with social media in my life. Now, crazy thing, when I'm trying to be intentional about it, then I'm all over the place. But when I'm locked in on something because it's something I care about, right? That's that difference. And I love that you brought that up, because that's a perfect segue to the next topic I want to talk about, which is what is on everyone's mind. And if you've made it this far in the video, this is the meat. You are probably feeling behind right now because AI is taking off, and you see all this advertisement about how AI can do all these things in 7 prompts and make people millions. And that's just not reality. It may be for some people that already have an audience or have the money to push that stuff, right? They already were in position to do that. So that's why those 7 prompts changed their life, because they already had a system to iterate on and scale. But if you're at the start, this is a beautiful time for you to, especially like if you're neurodivergent, this takes away all that stuff that executive dysfunction gets in the way of, like all those logical, repetitive tasks that us creatives can't do. We now have AI to help us through it, or to help us manage it, or to help us keep time, or bring things to the forefront. It's like having a second brain. Right now, there are men and women that are asking, will I still be useful? They're asking, am I adopting fast enough? Is my job safe? That's the biggest one, right? We're already struggling with the job we have, and probably having to do some side work, side hustles on the side. And then, are my skills outdated? And let me say this, the skill of being human will never be outdated. I don't care what technology comes along or what technology has come along in the past. It has never outdone a human. So I can still be grateful and have that ability to learn. And if I'm still breathing, I can still be useful in a new way. But I want to address this and get y'all's thoughts on it, because I got a comment on my Facebook. It was a friend I used to work with. Actually, I was her barista at one point, and she said she is exhausted by AI because, and I talked about this, I think, at the beginning, every minute of the day, she's forced to work with AI. It's not like she has an option. She is forced to work with AI. And they send her articles of, this is what's happening in the industry, and are we doing this? We should be doing this. So she's having to read through all these articles, check all her work with AI. She has to use AI like 60 to 75% of the day.
Wow.
And by the time she gets off, she's exhausted, because we still have the brains we woke up with. We can only process so much information. And now she's even more overwhelmed because she's forced to deal with the sycophant rant that you have to sift through and figure out what's real and what's not. And if you don't know how to program your AI so that you don't have to deal with that, then it's a losing game. And this is where we're headed.
I mean, I think it is a losing game if you look at it as a losing game. I think it boils back down to perspective. Like you said, she was forced to use AI. I disagree. I think that she has a choice to walk away and do something else if she really doesn't want to do it. And yeah, it's easy for me to say that from my seat, right? Yeah, for sure. I got it. But here's what I'm saying. If you feel so convicted that this is a thing that you don't like or that you shouldn't be doing, you should be planning your exit. And that's my advice to everybody about this whole AI is going to steal my job thing. If you feel like AI is going to steal your job, then why are you sitting around at that job? You need to be learning a new skill, going back to school, learning a trade, picking up another habit that you can form a monetized, way out for the thing that you don't want to do. The reason I'm saying that is because if you feel like that's coming, I'm going to tell you like this. If I feel like Godzilla is going to come stomp on my house, you think I'm finna live here? I'm going to go move somewhere else because I'm convicted that this is going to happen. Why would I sit here with that? Like that's my only thing, man. And I will say this, and this is the part I'll pause on and get Brad's thoughts. Like, I believe that if you believe something, you have no choice but to act on it. And if you don't find yourself acting on it, do you truly believe it?
Come on,
If I believe
man.
I was going to hit the lottery tomorrow, I guarantee you I'm finna go buy some tickets. But I really don't believe I'm gonna win because the odds are just against me. So I may get the ticket, I may not. That's what we're dealing with when it comes to AI stealing jobs. Everybody's talking about it, but nobody's doing anything about it, which means they don't really believe it. And for good reason, because none of these things that have been created by humans have ever overtaken the creator. Did your watch control you? You control the watch. You decide if this thing is going to do what it needs to do. I look at AI like encyclopedias. When encyclopedias came out, it was a way for us to go and get information off the shelf anytime we wanted. Matter of fact, my parents would be like, boy, go look it up in encyclopedia. I don't know what that is. And the last thing I did, I hate it when it was like a F word, but it's spelled PH. Now, went through all the F words looking for it. And like, it ain't in here. It's like, oh, it's a P. Oh, it's just an advanced encyclopedia. Now, can it do a lot more? Yes. Is the threat real? Yes. Is there a danger around it? For sure. But humans will always find another way. That's just who we are. Nothing that we create can have dominion over us.
Come on.
Period.
Come on.
That's like us having dominion over God. It's not going to happen.
Ooh. That's nasty.
Look at her situation, this specific lady who is overwhelmed and done with AI. I look at her situation that she's dealing with, and kind of like Rod said, I'm waiting for her to make the decision to leave it alone. Because at the end of the day, you do have a choice.
Yeah.
You will always have a choice. There is no, you might put yourself in a bit of discomfort, but if you think that you have to weather the storm and deal with something that you don't like to deal with on a regular basis, it's going to drive you crazy, first of all. So it's better for your mental health and your sanity to get up out of there, or to, like you said, make an exit strategy. And maybe that's the reason why the kettle's getting hot, because that happens in all of our lives. But we've been in situations to where we knew it was uncomfortable. But the question was asked, what are you going to do about it? If you don't want to be here, prepare yourself, show yourself that you want to get up out of here. I think about my tenure in my last 3 to 4 years of the federal government. I prayed before I left, and last year, like 2021 and 22, it's like, I don't like this. I ain't doing nothing I want to do. It's boring. I could do it in my sleep. I ain't challenged. So instead of God just saying, well, here's the golden portal to walk out of it today, he sends me a team leader who's ex-military, Black man, and sees me in my cube wasting time and comes and challenges me. Tells me that before he leaves this position, he's going to make sure everybody who is underneath him as team leader gets promoted, or he's not leaving. And when he came and told me that, I had to look at it as like, you just blowing smoke, or are you serious? But no, we went over a performance plan. We went over possible training I could take that enhance my skills and use my current capabilities to their maximum potential. Then he wanted to put me in leadership training, because it's like, not only do I see you growing, but I want you to be prepared to lead other people when I'm leading you. So if nothing else, you're going to take some leadership training under me. And so I'm doing this, getting involved, getting engaged, seeing growth, seeing a new side of me come out, getting excited. And then out of nowhere, Trump is like, all right, y'all got to buy out. You get up out of here if you want to do it. And I'm looking at it like, well, look at here. Came out of nowhere. The whole email that hit the whole federal system and shocked everybody, because the way it was labeled seemed like it was a joke. Everybody got the email. But then I started to see something crazy, because people around me who were tenured and secure in their position started panicking. What we going to do? I live in Tuscaloosa. I may have to come back to Washington. I may have to move my family to DC, because on my SF-50 it says that my headquarters is in Washington, DC, even though I'm only Delaware. So now I'm faced with the choice of uprooting where I live and having to go somewhere else, or I got to quit. But if I quit, what am I going to do? Oh my God. And so all these people are dealing with these hard decisions, and there were tears shed during meetings that we had, because my office was human capital. So we're responsible in the correspondence that everybody else gets. They're waiting for information to be passed to us so we can put it out there so everybody can see it. So our office was always buzzing. So you have that, in addition to the stress of trying to make a decision if you're going to even stay or not. So it was double time. And the entire time I'm sitting there like, this is my launch pad. I can't believe it. But I was confident. Why? Because I was ready. I told the Most High that I wanted to get up out of here, and then I followed through with action. And my action was fueled by the belief that I can do something else.
Yeah.
And that's when all that stuff came into place, bro. So that's when I challenged this woman. I was like, if you don't like it, like when I said, build yourself a plane, build yourself a boat and float away from this island. Because it's surely an island, but there's water everywhere. And there's more land.
And to your point, you said something so clever there, man. You said, I was confident because I was prepared. I'm paraphrasing, but the reality is you saw it as something because you believed you could do it because you had already put in some of the work. And I think that's part of the missing equation when it comes to people who are having fear around this subject. Like, I don't want to over romanticize it and make it like a thing where everybody can just easily do it. The reality is you can easily do it, but it takes time. Don't think you finna just go from having your identity tied to your career on Monday, and then Tuesday you have a completely different idea and you're fully confident in it. It doesn't work that way. You have to build yourself up to that point. So, I mean, we could talk about it for hours. We obviously don't have hours, but I'll just end by saying, like, if you want to build that confidence up again, where you feel comfortable in whatever role you're in, wherever you are, you have to be ready to figure it out. What does that mean? That means I'm going to figure it out if I'm over here on the West. I'm going to figure it out if I'm over here on the East. It doesn't matter if it's an entrepreneurial endeavor or a corporate endeavor, or you going back to your childhood dream, or you going forward. It doesn't matter. You just have to have the mindset that you're going to figure it out. And know that you're not alone, regardless of your belief system or not. You're not alone. You have people around you. You have systems around you. You have God. You have other things that you can lean on outside of yourself. Everybody bottles down and isolates when they have these moments or they have decisions to make. But lean on the people around you that you trust. Lean on the systems around you that you trust. Lean on, your faith, your belief, whatever it might be. But don't do it on your own.
Man, that is beautiful. And I know we are at time. We typically go over because it gets so good. But for the person that's listening that doesn't have that support system, that doesn't have that group, that is why groups like this, or school groups or Facebook groups, where people are gathered around for a common goal, and you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So wouldn't you rather be around 5 people who have a positive mindset, who have goals, who view life through a lens of gratitude and are going places in their life, have something you want or are somewhere you want to be? Wouldn't it make more sense for you to be in their presence? So you might mess around and be the 6th, right? And I feel like you are not a tree, so you can move. When a tree is planted, its roots are there and it has to stay there. And if it moves, it dies. But we're not trees. We have legs, we have feet, we have imaginations. We can create whatever we want in our heads and then actually live it out in the real world. I imagine a tree is sitting there dreaming of being by water if it's in the forest, or the tree that's by the water is dreaming of being on an island by itself because it's an introverted tree. I don't know how trees dream. I'm just saying we can move if we want. And that's one thing, that's one cause for gratitude, right? If you don't like the group of friends you're around, choose a new group of friends. They're not family, right? If you don't like your family, make your family, right? There's options, right? And we have choices, but a choice you can always waver. You can always go back and forth. I urge you to make a decision to be grateful for where you are, what you have, and may even challenge you to be grateful for something that's already in the works, because it is coming. But you have to start seeing it through a lens of gratitude and thank God in advance, or thank whoever your higher power is in advance, because it will come if you focus on it. With that, I'm going to do what we always do. What is one closing thought? If you had to reassure the person that felt like they were falling behind or felt like they weren't enough or they were an imposter, what would be that closing thought for y'all?
Tell them to immediately think on 5 wins, 5 successes, 5 things that they know that they're genuinely thankful for, and write them down. I would say write them down and put them in a conspicuous place. You could always have it in front of you, because the thoughts will return. The thoughts of inadequacy, the thoughts of I need to catch up, I need to do more, they're going to return. Yeah. So having something written down in front of you, on a mirror, on a refrigerator, wherever you, on a door, right before you leave the house, and make the list or the paper that you draw or that you write it on big enough where you can add more things. And continually to keep that present before you, and that will be at least defense against feeling like you're behind and that you're not doing enough or that you haven't made it, because we come out the womb champions after beating millions.
Come on.
So there's got to be something, the reason why you're here. You just ain't found it yet. Keep going.
I love that. That's good. I would say that things that seem insurmountable are only that way because we haven't mounted up and climbed it. You have to stop looking at the mountain and saying, man, that is so big. How am I going to ever get there? And start looking at the feet in the path in front of you and walk and start climbing. If you put energy and action towards a thing, you will eventually get where you're trying to go. And so if you feel like you're behind, standing there ain't going to help you. Start walking. And if you can't walk, crawl. You know, Martin Luther King said it best. I ain't even going to give you that quote. Just go look it up on your AI tool. But here's the reality of it. You just have to begin putting one foot in front of the other. Nobody wants to take their time and do stuff. People want stuff instantaneously, and it just doesn't happen that way. So if you feel like you're behind, just know that you're not, number one, right? But number two, if you still feel that way, do something about it. Because when you put action in, you're going to get a result back and you're going to see some growth. And then you can look back at where you were when you were thinking you were behind and say, oh, I was further ahead than I thought. And now I'm definitely not behind. And that's the whole goal. You have to start doing something towards it.
It's taking action, counting your wins. Mine was closer to what y'all were saying with the, I had a coach back in the day that told me, or told everyone on the call, make a badass list. I was like, what's that? All the times in your life you've been a badass. Just start keeping tabs on that. And if it has to be a little written journal you keep with you, every time you have a win, every time you overcome something you didn't think you could, document all those small wins. And when you start feeling like you're behind, like you're not enough, like, you know, life isn't worth living, because that does come up as thoughts for us as humans sometimes. And it's not that we want to leave this earth. It's that oblivion is preferable to the pain that we're feeling, right? It's a temporary solution or a permanent problem, or permanent solution for a temporary problem, excuse me. But make that list so that you can go back and see it yourself. And if doing it in isolation doesn't work for you, then just call 5 close people to you and ask them, like, what about me? Give me one word. Give me one sentence. Like, what do you think of when you think of me? Or when, what have I done for you? Or what are my wins that you see? Because I don't see my wins myself. And then that will spark some gratitude that creates that action. I'm just tying the bridge together here for y'all. Because, I mean, we learn more in taking the action than we do in sitting and thinking and comparing and stressing and worrying, right? I'm going to take an action, and if I fail, I win because I learned what not to do. And with that, I'm going to let Brad bring us to a close, because I'm Mikey, guys. I'm Michelangelo. I'm supposed to be the goofy one with the nunchucks. I'm not the leader.
You held it down, bro. You held it down. You did what we all of us ninjas. Ain't that
Yeah.
right?
That's right.
There it is. But I
Who you
do want to
calling
make
the
this
ninja?
announcement, though. I do want to make this announcement for those who are inquisitive or may feel like they're in the position that Greg just described, and you're doing this in silence, don't have a community. You are in luck because right now we are crafting an online GFB Clubhouse space hosted by my man Gregory Rutledge himself, who is a pioneer and a personal professional in hosting these types of communities. And once we have this thing ready, we're going to put the link out. We want all of you guys to join because you're going to get more helpful information, just like you've been seeing tonight. A lot of inspirational information. And you'll also find out a little bit more about each one of our stories and the battles we've overcome and how we've made it this far. So you will have plenty of fuel to be grateful. But for tonight, we say good night. We say may God be with you till we meet again. And we will see you next Tuesday at 7 p.m. on the dot. Blessings until then.
6 p.m. Central.